going on, folks? You are on the air with VA3EWV, Big E's Drive After 5. I haven't been on here much this week. I went to my friend's house yesterday. What's going on there, Bob? So just a short little drive. Tuesdays is always Costco Tuesday, so I wasn't here on Tuesday. That's how that goes. I think you guys know that by now. And Monday, I don't know. Oh, Monday I was trying to go do an activation that was a big zero. A big goose egg. That's what that was, let me tell you. I went to the first park. It was a no-go. The place was closed. Broad daylight. I went to the second place, and they're like, oh, you have to be out of here 1 hour before dawn. Or dusk, or dawn. Dusk or dawn. Anyway, that didn't work out for me. Oh, goodness gracious. So tonight, I'm going to be heading home. I'm pretty excited, pretty nervous. I'm going to be hosting tonight's ProComNet. It comes on every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. If you're local to Cornwall, you can get into the VE3 PGC repeater. What's going on there? POTA Power. Come on. You know it. POTA Power is out here tonight, folks. They're on the website. I've asked them to make sure they put their, if they're going to activate, to put it out there so we can go and search for them and have some fun. My boy Bob's out there that got me into POTA, so if y'all having problems, point your finger at his ass, because it wasn't me. All right. Anyway, back to the ProComNet. I have been blessed to be doing 2 nets here in Canada. So Trans-Canada Net, I've started in the rotation for that. Pretty excited. I did my first one 2 weeks ago. It went pretty well, so I was told. And tonight I'm doing the ProComNet, so I hope everything goes right. I do have some guys that are going to back me up in case something happens. So you should always have good backup on you. So I'm just plugging that for that, the ProComNet there. So what we're going to do now is try to do some simplex. Most every day that I head home, I try to talk on next. Okay, there we go. What's the question there? What's going on, Brendan? Oh, it's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Let me look these windows up here and turn on some of that air and try to get on some simplex here and see what we can do. So if I can't get anybody on simplex, I'm going to try on some of the local repeaters. So that's what it's all about. If y'all have any topics or comments y'all want to talk about, let me know. And let's see who we can get on 146-520. Hey, if you don't, try it out in your area too. Everybody I talk to, they go, oh yeah, in my town the bands are dead. Or not the bands, that's HF. But they're like, oh, it's dead in my town. So you have to make it alive. I get out here a lot and I just call out and nobody calls back out to me. Or I'll just hear the repeater saying what the time is, you know. But you got to get out there and you got to make it happen. So let's try to make it happen tonight. Here we go. This is Victor Alpha 3, Echo Whiskey Victor, VA3EWV Mobile. Anyone on frequency, over? You also have to try a couple times. What's going on there, Devin? Devin, I'm going to be doing the ProComNet tonight. I know I put out the information on how to link to it. But for those of you that have gone through the PGC repeater there, VE3 PGC, you're always welcome to go to that because it's linked up automatically.
VA3EWV, Victor Echo 3, Oscar Tango Whiskey.
Victor Echo 3, Oscar Tango Whiskey. Good evening to you there, Jonathan. VA3EWV, Echo Whiskey Victor, Mobile.
Well, very good, Ernest. Good evening to you. And I was just speaking to Ante, CBW, about an hour ago on 446 on 70 centimeter. I thought that. And I said, yeah, Ernest usually pops around this time. But I don't think he's around. So he sends his regards. And he wishes that he could catch you on these evening commutes. But he sends his well wishes. and we had a nice chat about an hour ago.
Hey, that's pretty good. Are you guys going to 446.00 for UHF or somewhere else? It is on Simplex?
QSL, yeah, that's on Simplex. That's on 446, precisely.
Okay, what I'll do, I'll just program my radio so when it turns on, and my handy talkie, then when it turns on, it'll just have both on. Because right now it just has CRA and 146.520. So I might be missing action when I'm walking from work to the car. I've started bringing my handy talkie with me too, so I'll make sure I program the other thing in there and have it on both VFOs so I don't miss out on the fun.
Well, that's good. That's good, Ernest. And yeah, for the, downtown should be fine. You know, UHF doesn't have to reach that 2-meter hash, but for downtown it's pretty good. And I've spoken to him before. Actually, I made a use with him once. I think he was on the HD, and he was out by the airport at Gatineau, and I was able to work him no problem. So I know even on the mobile, he was up by Buckingham, and I was able to work him. So yes, it has quite the reach to it. You know, city-wise, of course, but yeah, it does get used from time to time around here.
Well, that's good to know. I'm going to attempt one day during the afternoon to try to make 10 QSOs on Simplex and try to see if I can't get one of the mini parks activated. Hey, look, I went out Monday to try to activate, I forget the name of it now, something house. It's where the Governor General lives, Rito Hall or something like that, and the whole grounds was closed. So then, you know, if you're a good planner, you always have two, a backup. The backup was going to be some NRC boat launch or something like that. It had a sign out there saying that you had to be gone before dusk. So I went to the Aviation Museum. It's beautiful out there. You know, just drove around the parking lot and checked things out. And that road, at least from aviation, goes straight into the 417. So I just threw the cruise on and headed on back home. And that was my first zero ever going out there to the park there.
Okay, Ernest. Well, that's news for me. I was not aware that Rito Hall is a photo park. The security's pretty tight there, so I don't know how they would feel about people coming on at the parking. There isn't really any parking in that area either. I guess Mackay Street, I guess you could park, but yeah, the parking is few and far between, and I think you have to be by an entrance. I don't know what Port of the Fires is an entrance, the entrance to the premises, or the entrance to you know, the Queen's entrance. The Queen's entrance is the main entrance at Rito Hall there. So I don't know which entrance they would be referring to, but that is new for me. Usually, well, there's two cricket pitches out there, Ernest, and they use the cricket pitch during the summertime. I don't know about now. So usually the park is pretty busy, especially during the weekend. So I don't know what you would have to do permission-wise, but that's new to me.
Yeah, I could definitely see through the fence there, because you know it's just a nice iron, whatever you call fence. They have a big area. There were two ladies that even told me how to get there, but they have a huge area with, you can tell it's a park. Like they have swing, like a play structure out there and all that stuff. It's at the Governor General's place. But then I was told that Trudeau had used it when they were trying to renovate Parliament. So I don't know what's going on there now, but it's usually open, and the people who told me it's usually open, but it was closed that day. And like I said, I went down to the other place, the boat launch, and you had to just be gone by dusk. So that would have probably given me 30 minutes of talk time, and I'm like, nah, you know, I'm just gonna go take a rest today. So I haven't. And then we had all the solar activity Tuesday, Wednesday. So that was pretty dead, and everybody was saying it was dead. So I haven't done one single activation or hunted all this week, and today's Thursday. They're over.
Yeah, Ernest, it really hasn't been that good for HF. I haven't done any HF for probably over a week. It just, it isn't there. You have to wait it out. Usually the good part is, usually
Hey, Ronald,
solar
how's it
source,
going?
you get some very, very good HF conditions, especially on 10 meters. So we'll have to wait it out and see what happens. Well, I believe the premises you're speaking of is Rideau Cottage, which is located at the north end of the premises, the northeast end. But that's pretty much restricted access. The RCMP will stop you very quickly if you if you try to go past the cricket pitches. It's a no-go zone pretty much, and the place is covered and surrounded by cameras. So if they know you're in a place where you shouldn't be, they're usually on you pretty quick. But the west end of the property, the southwest end, there's 2 cricket pitches, and there's a visitor center, I guess, type of thing that people could use. So maybe that could be a place. But I was not aware that Rideau Hall was a Porta Park. So that is new to me.
Yeah, it actually says, I don't have it up now, I'm driving, but it actually says something about a flower garden or something. Like when you pull it up on the map, it says Rideau Hall, whatever. Then it talks about some kind of garden or some type of garden that's accessible to the public, right? So they specifically say, hey, it's this particular garden. You can get there from this time to this time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's some garden there that's on the property that you can go out there and do your stuff. And you know what? It'll be perfect for the vertical and stuff like that. So I have some, I've actually been thinking about how to get a backpack system. I saw a guy on YouTube that had his battery, his radio, and then a headset. I got myself a Heil G70, G90, whatever it was, I don't know. I said, give me the best one you got, and that's the one they sent me. But I saw him with a headset similar. So he had the headset on with the mic in front of him. He just had paper and pen in his hand, and he was walking around, and he had a backpack with a long antenna on it. Like, it was very long. I'm talking like 12 or so feet long, but it was telescopic. And he was just standing there, just standing and doing QSOs, just standing because it was just easier for him to do it that way. And I was like, I would really tear it up if I had me a little setup where I had a ham stick or something like that, right? Reminds me of when I was in the military and I had the backpack radio. I was 91 Charlie, 91 Kilo or something like that. We had those backpack radios with the fiberglass whips on them, right? And we just did radio communications with the radio in the backpack. I don't know if you ever saw one of those before. Back over to you.
Okay, very good, very good. Yes, I've seen those before. And they have a lot of aftermarket kits because, Ernest, that type of setup you have to run QRP. You have to run 5 watts, 10 at the most, because you're wearing the radio. I think ICOM has a backpack kit for the IC705. They have a few backpack and aftermarket kits for some of the QRP radios that are around. So yeah, I know some people, they do that, and they do pedestrian HF, and that certainly works out for them, especially if the space is pretty confined. But the Governor General's Gardens that you speak of, Ernest, it's not really open to the public. It's restricted access, as well as the greenhouse. The greenhouse is beside the garden. And they do open it up to the public, but only for certain times of the year, for certain hours. And once you're on the premises, it's airport-style security, so I don't know how the radio would go through. But it's pretty tightly restricted. But the few opportunities they open it up to the public. So, you might have to contact Rideau Hall or the Chancellor's office or see what you can do in regards to permission. But that would be a very neat activation for sure.
Well, I saw it was done 4 times. I forget the years because, I always look at the year. If it's something like long ago, I don't deal with it. I look for something at least in 2024 there, eh? So what one guy, I saw him doing, totally unrelated, I did not know that people sat in their cars and did photo activations. I always get up, set up a table, stuff like that. I'm outside in the air, whatever, whatnot. And there's a guy that lives in California. He said it's always super hot. So he sits, he puts his antenna up, right? And he rolls his car on the some kind of base that holds up this huge vertical, right? And he just sits there in his car and he does the activation, in the comfort of his car. And I was like, I could probably do that in wintertime, right? You don't have to have the car running all the time, but dress pretty warm. And then every now and then crank her up there to get some heat going and then turn it back off. And I think that's how I'll do my pull activation in the wintertime inside the car, because I was like, how am I going to pull this off sitting outside, right, with my fingers freezing and all that stuff? Now I know. So the reason I brought that up is because when I was talking to those two ladies, there was parking on the side street, on the side of that building. Like, people were parked on the side after 5 o'clock. So I could always pull up there, set up my antenna, right, like right by the car there, and just do the communication right in the car. And look, VA3EWV, my wife's calling, so I'll just I'll hit you back. Have a good rest of your day there, Jonathan. And 73 to you there, over.
Okay, well, yeah, you would know about the porta regulations than me, but if there's parking and if it's allowed, porta bikes, because I think you have to be 100 feet from the entrance or something. I can't recall, but again, I'm not a coach person, so you would know more than me. But very good. Well, if there's a will, there's a way, right? So I'm sure through those meetings, or if you meet someone, yeah, you can see what you can do regards to that activation. But yeah, very good. Sounds like you're on the right track to take over the quota scene. And there's a few downtown by your office as well too that could be activated as well. So don't count those out.